What's going on, guys? It's Nick here, back with another video. It's Monday, it's new time, and it's time for the Mock Draft Monday. It was requested that we do a deep bench in this one. So usually I do like 6-7 spots for the bench. Some of you play in leagues with like a lot of bench spots. What do we expand it to 10? 10 bench spots. We can see what we can kind of do with that expanded bench. We're going to go back to only one flex spot. Next week, we're going to do a draft with 3 wide receivers. Last time I think we did 2 flex spots last week. So full PPR, 12-team league, 10 bench spots, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 quarterback, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 defense, no kicker. We're going to stick with just like the expert consensus that last time was pretty clear, better than ADPs. We will probably switch ADPs back on August. I would say starting in August, we can start bringing those back in. Sites are just terrible right now, so we're going to have to stick with those. I don't think anything's going to be different. I'd say in a full PPR league, like quarterbacks, we probably want to just keep high on quarterback like the entire offseason because people are going to take quarterbacks earlier. So we'll keep quarterback high. Honestly, I think we're going to keep everything the same. In full PPR, normal for running back, high for wide receiver. Although, I guess last time we had that extra flex spot, people are probably more likely to lean towards it. We'll do slightly high for both. Slightly high running back, slightly high wide receiver. Probably going to push tight ends a little bit down, and then high for quarterback. Okay, let's test that out. See what things are looking like. And we'll go from 3. There are very few spots that we have not done yet. 3 is one of them. I think there's only 1 more after this, and then we're going to cycle through and do the rest. But I wanted to do one that wasn't like right next to what we did last week. So draft board up. Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler goes number 2, although I guess in full PPR it's not crazy, though I would not do it. All right, we'll hide the drafted players here. Let's pull up our roster, even though there's nothing on it. That's the best view in my opinion. So your option here is not quarterback, not going tight end. You're going with McCaffrey or you're going with Cooper Kupp. It's really just you got to do mock drafts. If you are, knowing that you're the number 3 spot or there's a possibility you'll be in a top 5 pick, you got to do enough mock drafts to know what your team works out with Cooper Kupp and Christian McCaffrey going there. I like teams that start off with running back higher on. I know some of you are scared to draft Christian McCaffrey, and many of you have asked, like, can you do it? Can you draft McCaffrey? I still think the answer is absolutely yes. These injuries were not things that we can really expect to happen repeatedly time over time. They're not things that we can be concerned with. The only thing, like I mentioned probably a week ago, is hamstrings. Whenever a player has a hamstring injury, they're always at risk of re-injuring that hamstring, even if it's been a while. So the hamstring can happen again, but I'm not concerned. If he happens to get hurt, he has the same chance of any of these running backs getting hurt again, so don't worry about it. So after he goes, we see a huge run at running back. Najee, Dalvin, Henry. Then we see Cooper Kupp. So whoever got this late mid-round pick, whoever got Jamar Chase at 201 is ecstatic right now. They're going to mix and Chase start. So I wish I had a late first-round pick in this draft. But we see Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, Chase, Adams, Diggs, Debo, and Lamb come off the board, and a billion wide receivers. Kamara, Fournette, Mixon, Swift, Jones, Chubb, Akers. You guys know I think Kamara is more of a late third-round pick right now with that suspension possibility. And then Kelsey's the only tight end that goes off the board. So relatively standard. Again, I think like experts right now have Leonard Fournette a little bit too high. I'd probably move him up. I'd probably put Swift in this spot. Everything else looks relatively normal. So again, not going quarterback. Kind of unfortunate for wide receiver. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this 7 wide receiver range kind of is pretty clearly the top end. I would say Mike Evans is, a really good bet to be next, Mike Evans or Tyreek Hill, but it's pretty clear that there was a drop-off. And so I don't really want to be the first one to take this drop-off. And if there's also a chance that, only 4 picks go by, one of them might be there their next pick, I wouldn't go with wide receiver. Running back, I think Saquon is pretty obviously the top guy, potential to catch, 80 receptions. And realistically, you can think of this as like a ceiling. You used to have to go, 1 and 2, McCaffrey and Saquon. Now getting McCaffrey and Saquon on the same team, that opens up a ceiling where both these guys legitimately could score, 25 points per game, especially in full PPR. That's a possibility for us. We could go with McCaffrey, Barkley, take wide receiver here, probably go wide receiver with the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, really hammer that position and really just count on both those playing. Now, obviously, there's a chance that, both could get hurt, both could be dust at this point. I guess Barkley more than McCaffrey. We know McCaffrey's going to be phenomenal when he's healthy, but definitely an upside there. What I'm looking at, though, is Mark Andrews. There's a really good spot to take him. There is obviously a drop-off at the tight end position. So that's a huge consideration for us. I'll pull up. I have wide receiver on the board here, or wide receiver. clicked wide receiver when I was doing it. I have running back, I have tight end on the board. Barkley, I do have as a better pick than Mark Andrews. And I feel like I have done some tight end early builds recently. And I don't think I've shown you guys like a McCaffrey and Barkley start. So I think what we should do is take those two. We obviously know we're not going to get Mark Andrews, and kind of see what things look like there. Very unfortunate. Oh, actually, no, we're going to get Mike Evans. Very nice. So I wanted this start. McCaffrey, Barkley, just kind of like, let's just see what happens. What kind of super team can we build here? We knew we weren't going to get Mark Andrews, but it's Keenan Allen, A.J. Brown, and Tyreek Hill, which isn't like incorrect or anything. I think those are phenomenal picks, but it's very like blatant value now in Mike Evans. You could go with Kyle Pitts if you think he goes off. You could go with Javonte Williams if you think that he's the clear one and you're just locking up 3 running backs. I think taking that third running back there is kind of like marginal utility. Now you have to play them to flex. You're forced into one spot playing them, and to abandon other positions for a longer period of time, especially when there's a value, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So running back makes no sense. Too early for quarterback. Not doing tight end naturally brings us to wide receiver, where we have Mike Evans as the very clear top value. So makes all the sense in the world to go with him there. And then it's going to be a very long time until our next pick. I would say in the 4th round, we would have considered going with like Josh Allen if he was still on the board. But the odds that he is very slim. So first 3 picks: McCaffrey, Saquon, Mike Evans. Love it. I'm in love with that beginning. We see Josh Allen go off the board, last pick in the 3rd round. We see 4th round, Patrick Mahomes come off the board. As I mentioned, Andrews was gone. Kyle Pitts is the only other tight end that goes. Not a lot of running backs. We've talked about this plenty of times this year. You're going to see a billion running backs, then you're going to see a run at wide receivers, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Javonte Williams, James Conner, Gibson, Montgomery, and Zeke come off the board for running back. A lot of wide receivers: Deontay, T. Higgins, Pittman. So those are guys we love. DJ Moore, Waddle, Metcalf, McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, Marquise Brown, Sutton. A lot of wide receivers we would have liked to get on our team. Herbert is technically a value. I don't know if he's a value by my rankings, though. Let's see. Herbert, 503. We're at 410. He is not a value by my rankings. I have him a little bit lower because we love targeting that mid-round range, and so it bumps down the quarterbacks there. Kittle, not thinking he's going to end up being a value. We can pull that up. Kittle is at 404. So a slight value on Kittle, but with Waller still there, with some decent mid-range options and late guys, like I'd want a really, really good value with Kittle here. I don't think that we go with tight end. Although I guess Waller's not a bad value here. I have Waller as like a late 3rd round pick. So Waller's in consideration for us. Keep that in the back of our minds. At wide receiver, you've got Amari Cooper, you've got Mike Williams, and you've got kind of a tier break there, and I would say Mike Williams kind of begins that tier break. So we could go with Mike Williams. That's definitely in consideration. Running back, Etienne, Breece Hall, no one else. There's no other consideration. Now, because we started McCaffrey and Barkley, if those two are going to work out, if those picks work out, it's not optimal for us to take a running back at this spot. Etienne, I think, is an incredible value in a full PPR league, and I think our team would have a really nice start if we did that. But I think we'd have a better start if we took Mike Williams. We would secure another really good starter for our team, not forced into the flex spot. There was technically a chance that Etienne was going to be there at the next pick. Unfortunately, this team goes with him, which is very unfortunate, actually, that Kittle and Etienne come off the board with Herbert. That's kind of unfortunate. But I think over time, taking Mike Williams there is the smarter move. We're locking up 2 guys that, I think Mike Williams is a 3rd round pick, get him in the late 4th round. 2 really solid wide receivers. For those of you who like bye weeks, all these first 4 picks have a different bye, so go us. So we're at this pick. Oh, we were actually considering Waller at that spot. So we can go with Waller here and really build out a very nice starting lineup of McCaffrey, Barkley, Evans, Williams, and Waller. That's a really nice start. Breece Hall is a nice value, kind of that last running back in full PPR like Dobbins, Mitchell, Dillon. Not so great. It is definitely a teardrop into the rest. So Breece Hall is like absolutely the last, elite running back left on the board. We're definitely not going with quarterback. So right now it's really Breece Hall and Darren Waller. And wide receiver, I think a lot of these guys are very similar. I'd obviously like to get a lot of them on my team, but only having to start 3 wide receivers, I don't see that there's value in really grabbing that one if there's not a tier break. So it's Waller or it's Breece Hall. 0% chance we can get either of them at the next pick. So how do we think our team works out? if we take Waller at this pick, we might end up getting a value on one of these guys a little bit later on. So it's like, would we rather have Waller and maybe Penny? That's kind of how it would work out. Waller and Penny? Or would we rather have Breece Hall and like a Dallas Goedert? That's kind of like the best comparison that I would throw together. Or even Breece Hall and then like a combination of Knox and Tunyon. Something like that. I don't know what the best pick is. And maybe I get heat for taking Breece Hall here. But we're in the 5th round. Breece Hall is clearly better than Michael Carter. He's going to be featured towards the end of the season. He's a fantastic running back. He unlocks upside with having 3 incredible running backs. I think optimally it probably is correct to take Darren Waller and try to build out that super team, because if we're assuming that McCaffrey and Barkley work out, then we don't necessarily need Breece Hall as much. But with how much of a downgrade it is into the other tight ends, I don't think it's going to be massive, especially when we kind of account for, Adams being there now, having, they really like Renfro, like having these running backs. Like, I don't think necessarily Waller has the same ceiling he used to have. And some of these tight ends are still really good. And the sharp down running back kind of concerns me. So I think we're going to take Breece Hall, but I think optimally Waller is probably the better pick at that spot. It looks like a few tight ends come off the board right before us. That stinks. So after Breece Hall goes, Waller doesn't come off the board until 6'6". So whoever this team is, who got gifted Cooper Kupp at 107, they started off Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, Brandon Cooks, and then Aaron Jones plus A.J. Dillon and Darren Waller. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that strategy of taking Jones and Dillon. I don't necessarily agree with taking Dillon in a full PPR league. And I don't really love Brandon Cooks in the 4th round. But they've gotten really good value with Cooper Kupp mid-1st, Darren Waller mid-6th, even T. Higgins in the 3rd. Those 3 picks will, make up for what I think are kind of mistakes everywhere else. But I was talking about, we see a run at quarterback. Brady, Lamar, Hurts, Burrow, all off the board. Waller, Schultz, Hawkinson, all off the board. So that kind of stinks. Thielen goes 2 picks before us. Not great. Not what we wanted to see. Kyler definitely becoming a value. Now, I don't have Kyler as high as some people do, but I have seen some sites that love Kyler Murray this season. We're at 610. I even being way below consensus. I guess not way below, slightly below consensus. Have him at 607. So Kyler's a solid pick. And does, unlock a ceiling of like he could score. I mean, he might have the best skill players of like his career to this point. I mean, he's got really good skill players, at least when Hopkins, kind of returns. Like it's a good supporting cast. And you assume that he's going to every year kind of take slight steps forward. So he unlocks, he could be a top 3 quarterback to go along with McCaffrey, Barkley, to go along with Evans, Williams. Like it's a really good starting lineup. I don't think we're looking at tight end. I don't know. We're not looking at running back. We would have needed a huge value. We already have 3, not looking there. So it's only Kyler or wide receiver. And when I look at these wide receivers, it's like we're at the short turn here, right? So only 4 people are going to go off the board. I don't know that we go wide receiver. I mean, I like Allen Robinson. I like Judy, St. Brown, Bateman, Elijah Moore, Davis, Lockett, Devonta Smith. It's like I like all those guys. I don't necessarily care which one I get. I'll look at the rankings and see which one. So I think it actually would be sharp to take Kyler. Well, wait. Have they taken quarterback? One has. So there's only one chance here that this team takes a quarterback. But again, I don't even know which wide receiver would I even take. Let's see that. If there's a significant drop-off in the rankings, but I don't think there is, then maybe we go towards that player. But it's Allen Robinson first. Right behind him is Judy. I don't know. I can't see on it's 7 points. So like pretty much worst case scenario, we're not dropping down that much. I think we go for it. I think we go with Kyler. Of course, the 2 wide receivers we were talking about also get taken, but then Dak goes, so we would probably have not gotten. Yeah, that team does take it. So Judy comes off the board, Miles Sanders comes off the board, Robinson and Dak. Kind of unfortunate, but is what it is. I don't think it's that much of a drop down to St. Brown. Then Mooney's. Mooney's still on the board. Is there a chance? Oh, Mooney's not on the board. I actually would have thought that ECR would have had Mooney later than they do. Oh, 6:02. Good job, everyone. Nice. But yeah, I think we kind of have to go with wide receiver again. Pulling up over here, we have Mike Evans, we have Mike Williams. We love that combination. We're kind of loaded at running back. We've got that quarterback. Still not going to go with tight end. I think it has to be wide receiver. And so it'd be our favorite between Bateman, Brown, Elijah Moore, Gabriel Davis. I believe it's. I have Gabe Davis lower than I figured I would. It is St. Brown, then Renfro, then Gabriel Davis. So I've dropped Gabriel Davis down a decent amount. I mean, it's kind of to match where his ADP is. Actually, it probably still is a little bit ahead of ADP. We'll take St. Brown here. We'll probably hope for Devonta Smith in the next pick. That would be phenomenal. We can even hope for DeAndre Hopkins after that. There'll still be some really, really good options for us. So we'll do that. Let's take St. Brown. Really good PPR wide receiver as well in that full PPR league. Oh, man. There's a possibility here that we can just like destroy this draft. I'll tell you what I mean in a second. We see Rodgers go. We see Stafford go. Wilson go. No tight ends come off the board. This is kind of like that dead zone. Running backs, Chase, Clyde, Hunt, Harris, Pollard. Wide receivers, Elijah Moore, Drake, Hopkins, Gage, Bateman, Traylon Burks, Gabriel Davis, Lockett, Ayuk, and Garrett Wilson. Who's left on the board, you ask? Hunter Renfrow, Devonta Smith. Pretty clearly, I'll say Woods is right behind them, but pretty clearly the top two. If we could end up getting both, then that'd be phenomenal. Now, I think this first team that only has A.J. Brown and Allen Robinson is going to take a wide receiver. I wouldn't be shocked if the team with Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, Jerry Jeudy took a wide receiver, although maybe they should probably lean with running back, only having Eckler and Jacobs. Jacobs not being a great, PPR guy. I would love to get both of these guys. Let's make sure my rankings don't have one of them like egregiously behind. So Devonta Smith at 705. Hunter Renfrow is ahead of Devonta Smith. Okay. So I was wondering if I would have to just say like Devonta Smith's way ahead of Renfrow. We should be taking him and just like disregarding. But even by ADP, Renfrow first, rankings, Renfrow first. Good. I really hope I click this button and we still get Devonta Smith, because then we'd have Evans, Williams, St. Brown, Renfrow, Devonta Smith. A phenomenal wide receiver core, in my opinion. That, I think this team is elite. If it ends up happening, it does not end up happening. Unfortunately, we see Devonta Smith go at 8-12. Great pick for this team. They double dip. They go with Devonta Smith and Christian Kirk, two good picks. And then we see double dipping again for team two, Rashad Penny and Singletary. Sadness. Okay. We can make up for it. Not make up for it. It would have been a steal to get that. Let's look at tight end. I don't think we're going to see a huge run, but we're going to see that next run happen. It's been, basically like 3 full rounds, I guess 2.5 rounds, since like a tight end has really been taken. I think one's going to end up going, a few are going to go over here. And if we drop down, it's fine, but I want to see where we have, if I have a huge value right now for Dallas Goedert, I'm thinking I end up taking it. Dallas Goedert at 8-12. Ertz technically at 805. I really just don't know. Like if I'm sitting here, like even the projections say take Ertz. I think I need to just put more on Hopkins and take away from Ertz. I don't know why I hate him so much, but I do. It just hurts so much taking him onto my team. I just like, if I'm sitting here, like I'm taking Dallas Goedert. If I'm doing an actual draft, there's no way in the world I'm taking Zach Ertz over Dallas Goedert. I don't care that like AJ Brown's there, Devonta Smith's there. Like those guys are just going to unlock the middle of the field all for Dallas Goedert. So I think I would have to take that there. But there's still other guys I really like. I mean, Dawson Knox is like right there in the rankings. Cole Kmet's very close. I don't think either of them stand out enough. And I look over at wide receiver and I see our pride and joy Robert Woods here. And it's like, also, we have all these bench spots. I'm definitely going to end up taking 2 tight ends anyways. So why? Why take tight end here? I could get Cole, I could get Knox, I could get like Fant. I can just double dip on someone really like late. I think that's the play. I think we use this bench for that benefit. We're probably going to take another quarterback as well. Just like, a lot of teams are going to end up taking a backup. We don't want a situation where Baker and Jimmy Garoppolo are like the top 2 in free agency. Because again, when you have all these options here, teams are much more likely to take 2, take 3 some teams, and you get towards a really thin free agency. So we want to avoid that, but we're not going to do it now. if we're not going to do quarterback, we're not going to do tight end, we can look at running back. I'm actually curious who, this is a grouping that's really close to each other. This like Gordon, Carter, Stevenson, Cook. My guess is that Cook and Stevenson are kind of at the top. Cook, Gordon, then Stevenson. Although I'm very excited about the ceiling for Stevenson. Do we think this is like the long one, right? Yeah, we're gonna have a long time before our next pick comes off the board. I think there's a possibility James Cook could still be there. Who do I have between? So James Cook is at 802. If I pull up wide receiver, where is Robert Woods? Robert Woods is 809. So I do have James Cook ahead of Robert Woods. But Robert Woods will definitely not be there at the next pick. James Cook is here. They're probably, both of them are not going to be there at the next pick. So I don't think we need to worry too much about that. Where's Melvin Gordon in all of this? Because I think Melvin Gordon is still 803. Oh, right behind. Yeah. I feel like it'd be sharper of us to take Melvin Gordon here. We know he's going to have some sort of role. We know that if Javonte Williams ever did get hurt, hopefully it doesn't ever happen, but if he did, I mean, they're probably featuring Melvin Gordon. We know he's talented. Has he ever had a season under 200 touches? Double-digit touchdowns back-to-back years. People writing him off saying he's not going to do anything. I mean, he's probably going to do something. One-round value about our rankings. Top ADP running back. I think a lot screams to taking Melvin Gordon. Hoping you get lucky with James Cook, with Robert Woods. I mean, Woods won't be there, but hoping you get lucky in some way at the next pick. I think that's the way to go. It is not looking like we got lucky even the slightest. Looks like a big run happened at the running back position. Oh my goodness. And James Cook goes right before us. So after us, Hines, Stevenson, Carter, James Robinson, Pierce, McKissick, Madison go, and then the pick before us, James Cook. Really unfortunate timing there. Olave, Woods, Tony, Claypool, Galladay, Lazard, Rondale, and Myers go off the board for wide receiver. No quarterbacks. We see Goddard and Ertz both off the board. Okay. So we missed out there. I don't think we're going to take a tight end here, so we're not going to do that. Trey Lance becoming a value wouldn't be a terrible idea for us to take him. Hope that he, hits his true ceiling, which is like 1,000 rushing yards, turns into an incredible play in fantasy. Teams are trading, fourth rounders for him, and like we could end up flipping, Trey Lance and Melvin Gordon to a team for like, their wide receiver one. Like if Gordon ends up having like a flex role and a team needs a quarterback and Lance is performing well, you better bet that someone's trading a really high-end wide receiver. We already have Evans. We already have Williams. I mean, it would just, be insane for our team. So definitely a lot of merit to taking him there. For sure not taking a running back. I feel good about running back again. McCaffrey, Barkley, Breece Hall, Melvin Gordon. We don't end up needing one of these scrubs right now. Wide receiver, nobody's standing out. There are good picks on the board, but no one stands out there. Do we just take it now? I feel like that's actually not a terrible idea. Take Lance. Take maybe even tight end. And then we'll focus on those positions. I don't even care who I get at these running backs right there. I think that's actually the way to... it's in the 10th round. I don't know. I don't know what would be smart, but you guys understand like the logic there, right? Is that like... these two teams are not taking quarterback. We can wait on Trey Lance. I think it would be sharp for us to take Lance, though, at this 11th round. But everyone already has one. Maybe we wait. Maybe we hope we can get him. If we don't get him at 12, we can get him at 13. We just stole the draft. We get Trey Lance at 13. Okay, what would we do if we don't do that? Where do I have the tight ends? Let's pull that up. Because if they're really good values, maybe we end up going there. Pull up the tight end rankings. Top tight end is Cole Kmet, then Pat. Cole Kmet 909, Pat 1003. We're at 1010. That's a really good value for Cole Kmet. All right. No, wait. Knox. What are we doing? Knox is way up. 712 for Knox. Yeah, that's not even close. Okay, I didn't even realize he was so low in that ranking. All right, we take Knox. Gallup. Oh, everything went away. Gallup, Gainwell, Boyd, Ronald Jones. No players we're even considering, so that's fine. Landry's intriguing. MVS is technically intriguing. Sky Moore, Tim Patrick, Jameson Williams, Dotson for sure. Intriguing names. I don't need any of them right now. Running back. Ugh. Spiller. Gus. And then we're backups. I mean, Herbert, Darrell Williams, Foreman. We're really at backups at that point. Running back's going to look very thin, and 10 bench spots. It's going to look bad. So we do kind of need to lock up one more. Do we? No. We can get another value. I was going to say, do we double dip at tight end? We just take him and Cole, but we can take a chance. Maybe one of them will be there at the next pick. So this is tough. I think we take a chance at tight end. We take a chance at quarterback. We just hope no one takes them. Full PPR league, we're still, Mike Evans, Mike Williams, St. Brown, Hunter Renfrow. We probably need a little bit more at the wide receiver position. So who is the top ranked wide receiver? My guess is Landry, especially with the unknown around Michael Thomas. It looks like... Was Lazard still on the board? No. Lazard's not there. Traylon Burks is not there. Sky Moore, actually. Sky Moore's ahead of Landry. Sky Moore at 912 or 1103. Interesting. Sky Moore right ahead of MVS. Both, I would say, well ahead of Landry and Parker. Parker's actually pretty low. Okay. I can get on board with Sky Moore. Relatively early draft pick. You guys know my thoughts on MVS. Just a deep threat, not going to command a target share. I think Juju's the guy, but, they didn't pay him anything. Drafted Sky Moore pretty early. Sky Moore is also a player that, oh my goodness, huge run at the tight end position. Sky Moore is also a player that can see a lot of hype. Right now, we've seen no news, and that's why he's going where he's going. If reports come out that Sky Moore's looking great when actual camps roll around in July, you better bet he's a 7th-round pick. I mean, people are going to hype him up real high. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if really good reports come out. Jahan Dotson goes right after us. I didn't miss Jahan Dotson, right? When I was listing out names. No, I do still have Sky Moore ahead of Jahan Dotson. Okay. So we see not many wide receivers, Dotson, Landry, MVS, Watson, Jameson Williams, but the tight end run, man. Pat, Cole, Tunyon, Gesicki, Fant. Oof. We have Knox. We're going to wait. There's no way we're taking a tight end at this spot. We're going to wait and take one that we like a lot later. At this point, I don't even know if I want to chance it. I don't even know if I want to chance it because at this point, Herbert or Dak, both those people could be drafting Trey Lance here. I just think this is such a good value. I think you have to do it. If all these teams are drafting 2 quarterbacks, which is what everyone should do in a format as this many bench spots, I think you have to. Yep, and Kirk comes off the board right after us. Kirk and I think 2 quarterbacks both took a backup. Watson and Kirk come off. That was a really good play for us, taking Trey Lance there. So I love it so far. I love this team. I think we need another running back. And I'm pretty sure actually Spiller works out to be a really nice value. I think he's the pretty clear number 2, potentially be featured if Eckler were to go down. Spiller is at 1205. We're at 1303. Good value. And it looks like he is the top guy on the board. Wonderful. Easy choice for us. Take Spiller. All right. I think we need to just build out. We've already got our backup quarterback. We're going to take a backup tight end probably pretty late. I mean, I kind of want Irv Smith, but I want to say we can wait, and we're at this turn here. These teams don't have backups. They're probably going to take a backup tight end soon. Running back is gross. I mean, it's like Brian Robinson to Ernest Johnson, Zamir White, but I think we can wait for all of them. We just took Spiller. I don't think we need that position. Quarterback or wide receiver, we have Mike Evans, Mike Williams, St. Brown, Renfrow, Sky Moore. All right. I think we can still afford to take another one. And Tim Patrick is kind of looking at me. Yeah, it would be Tim Patrick. It would be Palmer. And then your Fullers, your Odells, stuff like that. Osborne, who do I have? Now, we wouldn't take Osborne because of ADP over Tim Patrick, but wondering what I have just to kind of portion out the rest of our bench here. We have Tim Patrick pretty well ahead of Osborne. Okay, so that's fine. So I think the play would be to take Tim Patrick. Hope Irv is still there. One tight end goes. I think it's not worth the risk here. There's still plenty of guys we can get a little bit later. Many of these guys, well, actually, I mean, in the Njoku team will probably draft a tight end. I would say the Kelsey team will probably take a tight end. Yeah, three. There might be potential for like 3 to 4 tight ends to come off the board. My guess would be 3. And if Irv Smith is third for us, and I think a pretty clear third, I would have to imagine with how well I'm projecting the Vikings offense this season. 1103, we're at 1503. That's 4 rounds of value. Yeah, pretty clearly the top guy on the board. Take Irv Smith. Only looks like one tight end goes. Looks like Logan Thomas came off the board. We're seeing defenses fly off the board. We're seeing quarterback be very, very thin. When did we just got that in time? It was all, oh wow. After we take Trey Lance, the next like 2 rounds, we see like Watson, Cousins, Fields, Tua, Lawrence, Wilson, Matt Ryan, like all these guys come off the board. Wow, okay. So we need a defense in the last round. We already have our 2 tight ends. We have our 2 quarterbacks. I think we just go with a running back and a wide receiver here. We take a defense in the last round, and we call it a day. So we want Ernest. We want White. It's kind of different running back. We'd very much like one of those 2. Wide receiver, we'd like Palmer would probably be like the best bet for our team. But if not, Fuller. I don't really care. Osborne would actually be a really good pick. So let's just take our favorite between Ernest and Zamir. It's tough for that in the projections because I know I'm not going to project to Ernest very well. Yeah, he's only projecting in like the 17th round. Zamir White coming out as the best pick, but it's the upside. You play the upside game. If Ernest gets traded to New Orleans and we get a running back 1, he'd be running back 1 for the the month plus that Kamara could get suspended for. That is so much upside to our roster. Can Zamir White hit that? Maybe. I think he possibly could, but I think I would prefer to earn, especially in a full PPR format. I don't expect White to get many catches regardless of what happens this season. You could go with Boston Scott there. You could go with, if Chris Evans was still on the board, that would be fine, but is Chris Evans on the board? Can't even see it here. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's already taken. But yeah, I think we go wide receiver. In this pick, we take Palmer. You could argue Fuller actually would probably be a better pick here. Paris Campbell. Actually, who do I have? I was just talking about Osborne. Let's see. Palmer, Osborne. I don't have Fuller in the rankings because he's not a team. You can't really project someone that's not on a team. Osborne, Paris Campbell, then Palmer. So Osborne's actually the better play. There we go there. And I'm not concerned about having Irv Smith and Osborne, where I'm just saying I like this offense. I think they, are very, very high volume, and those 2 just like shatter their ADPs. All right. Chargers, that's a good one, right? Or Raiders and at KC. I actually, so next on the list is 3 wide receiver rankings. After that is finally running back and kicker rankings. So we'll have those 2 up quickly. Ravens, Jets. All right. Ravens play the Jets. Ravens have a good defense. I don't really know that we want to be targeting Dallas here. Tampa Bay, absolutely not. All right, yeah, we'll take the Ravens, and that'll be the last pick that we do here. So we'll see what our team grade is. 90. Who cares about the grade? Here's the starting roster. I think we did really well. So the reason for this, extended bench was people want to know what to do with that extended bench. When you get more, take that backup quarterback. Take that backup tight end. Other team's going to do it. You don't want free agency to be terrible. And then you've still got, potentially more bench spots for running back and wide receiver. So, starting lineup, Kyler, McCaffrey, Barkley, Mike Evans, Mike Williams, Dawson Knox, Breece Hall, and the Ravens. And then we've got Amon St. Brown, Hunter Renfrow, Melvin Gordon, Sky Moore, Trey Lance, Spiller, Tim Patrick, Irv Smith, Ernest Johnson, and KJ Osborne for the bench. We'll be back tomorrow. Sleeper, live, 8 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday is going to be late round draft strategy. And then after that, Thursday, I don't know what the breakdown is. It's whichever one won, whoever got the most votes on the second round draft decision. I believe it's going to be like an Aaron Jones kind of, Aaron Jones, Williams, Chubb, that kind of range. I don't know which of the players was. I'll look back at the other video if you guys voted for, and we'll see who we're doing then. That, my friends, is the end of this one. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, how about hitting the like button? And how about subscribing to the channel if you're new here? Thanks for watching.